Coach has got a special guest tonight that I'm super excited about. Ryan Johnson is a 3-5 guru, and he is starting his own YouTube channel. I love it when guys start a YouTube channel and start talking ball. He is the defensive coordinator, D-line coach at Alton Marquette Catholic High School in Illinois, and he is going to share multiple pressures from the 3-5 defense, and we're going to talk about his YouTube channel, and he's going to coach us up on some 3-5, and it's really kind of a brand of 3-5 that I'm really excited about, because I'm a too high shell guy, but I really like that 3-3 box. I that's something I'm very interested in, so I'm interested in stealing your ideas today, Ryan, and man, I'm excited you're here. I met Ryan through Twitter. He sends out a motivational quote every morning, and I kind of met him through that. Then when I saw he was starting his channel, I was excited about hearing him talk football and hopefully getting you some subscribers from this channel. So, buddy, thanks for being here. And he helped me out last night, because we were supposed to film last night, but it was my wife's birthday. And at the last minute, I figured out it would be a bad idea to be recording videos on her birthday. So he saved my life last night. And
happy wife, happy life, Joe.
Saved my life last night. All right, buddy. So thanks for being here. And first, let's talk about the channel, and then coach us up.
Yeah. So thanks for having me here, Joe. Appreciate you talking about the coaching tip of the day. Kind of something I started at the beginning of the year, along with trying to stay off all social media, period, on Sundays. I broke my rule for the first time last week, posting something on there. But again, football has given a lot to me over life. I played from the time I was 5 up until high school. Had about 3-year period in between there, started coaching some youth football, and then, high school football I've been in for 10 years. So just wanted to start, trying to give back to a game that's given, me so much. And, I feel like if it can help one person, then if it only helps one person, that's fine too. If it helps more than that, great. Started up the YouTube channel. It's called Shutdown Defense. My Twitter handle is shutdowndmchs. My email is shutdownd@iCloud. So it just only kind of fit. It was like, all right, went with Shutdown D, and it said, well, that's already taken. Okay, Shutdown Defense. Again, not really doing it, for the subscribers or the, monetization and all that. Sure, all that's great, but, Joe, I've been watching you do it. I've watched Mac do it for years. Coach Banster's doing a great job with his channel. And again, just talking ball, right? It's not that difficult for football guys to sit down and talk football.
Well, and we were talking before we started filming, both of us, we're going on a year now with no football, because we both play in the spring and February. I don't know if that's really springtime. I know
it's been the longest clinic season of my life.
Where you are.
Yeah.
But talking a little ball is all we got right now, so we're excited to hear it. And so I'm super excited about your channel, and we're gonna have links to your channel so guys can flip over there. But I'm really just hearing you explain it, I'm really excited about hearing your brand of 3-5 defense.
Well, so just to give a little bit of background, I'm a 4-3 guy. We kind of transformed a little bit more 4-2-5-ish based off of what we do. Big squeeze, squeeze and scrape kind of guy. I've talked about it in a couple of my first couple videos as well. But again, offenses these days are always looking to try and make you wrong. So you gotta try and have those answers. And then we kind of started transition. You said a 3-3 guru. I don't know about that. Okay. Because a majority of my background has been in a forefront. So it was more looking at a way of, okay, how can we change our structure? Because again, I've coached O-line and D-line, right? 3 fronts give the offensive linemen in high school trouble. I mean, you're limited with the time that you have to work. So if you're you know, slanting and moving and stunting and throwing six guys up on the line of scrimmage and then dropping a couple off, or sometimes bringing all six. I mean, that's what I think. It's that chess match, right? And you know, I hear guys say, well, on defense, we got to be counter punchers. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there's a time and a place to throw a punch, but that doesn't necessarily mean you got to be a counter puncher, right? Because as a defensive guy, I go in there and I'm looking to uh, make you do what I want you to do, right? There's a reason why I'm lining up a certain way. Maybe some of the things I might do sometimes in the past, a guy may look at and say, yeah, we're going right there with the ball. But maybe that's right where I want you to go with the ball. I mean, maybe there's a reason why I want that, you know, maybe your other two guys are just super studs and I could really care less about that third guy. And that's where I want the ball to go. Um, so coming up with ways to be multiple yet still simplistic is always been something that I want to keep learning and always keep learning. How can I continue to be as sophisticated as possible, but the teaching be as basic as simple? So we started looking at ways, how can we kind of move from that forefront to that three front and still keep everything that we've been doing behind it. So as you know, a lot of 4-2-5, a lot of split field coverages. Again, Coach Mack is probably the best if you want to talk coverages. As we get into the video, I'm not really going to discuss coverages because how you get there and why you get there, I think all comes down to you as a coach and your team. But I would definitely suggest, again, checking out those split field coverages. But we were able to take what we did, morph it to a three front, but still, you know, our reads and our keys are almost identical. So now you can be that multiple forefront if you want to, or you can, hey, buddy. Sorry. For you. All right. All right. I'll be right back. Okay. I'll be out soon. Okay. All right. I love you. Sorry about that, Joe.
You got Blitz. You got a Mike Blitz there.
I did. I forgot to lock. I locked it the first time and then came back in. They're putting together some Christmas ornaments. So yeah. So regather my thoughts here. But yeah, as far as you won't see coverages behind it. Basically, again, I think whatever works out best for you is dependent on your players and what fits your scheme. You know, whether you decide to roll or rob or split field, but ultimately it comes down to you're probably going to be in some kind of 3 under 3 deep or 4 under 2 deep man type situation. So going back to it, how can we can still get into our forefront just by bringing one guy? The best thing that I think about it, Joe, is you can get into whatever front you want just by bringing one blitzer, right? You can get in, I mean, really, you can get into that under front look, you can get into that over front. You're already starting in a three. Again, I think whether you play a four, four eye, five, those are little, again, small adjustments that don't cost you a lot, right? But it makes you look like you got so much in the package. So as we go through these blitzes, you're going to see that when I start, it's going to look like I got tons and tons of blitzes here. Okay. But really, with our guys, we talk about lanes of the highway and just changing our tracks, changing our lanes. And by doing that, one blitz can ultimately look like six different kinds of blitzes. And again, I think when you go into a game, you never bring everything in your arsenal in there, right? You're going to pick which ones match that week. So as we're going through here, by no means do we call every single one of these blitzes in a game. In fact, this when we get into it, you'll see there's one that's stab. Again, it starts coming. All these are drawn up to a spread 2-by-2 formation. Okay. Obviously, certain things are going to dictate certain blitzes, but this is just showing where we're coming from, an idea where we're coming from, if that makes sense, Joe.
Yep.
So, all right, let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right, can you see that there, Coach?
Yep, got you.
All right, so our base call is stack. We just call it stack. When we were a forefront, our forefront was called stack because we actually, even the way we played our 4-2, we were kind of stacked up, here, and the mic was more a little bit here on the 3. Okay, so we always kind of called that stack anyway. So this is kind of where we're going to start. And again, to me, whether you're going left or right, again, it's you're doing the same thing. Okay, so we start off with the stack lightning, and again, as I said, most of the time, as a general rule, we are a split coverage team. So, for instance, most likely against a 2x2, we're probably running what we call 2 read palms blue to this side over here to the left, and then over to the right, we're probably going to run a man scheme, or again, what you decide to do, how you decide to do it is completely up to you. We basically stack heads up on the tackle in a 4. Again, I don't want to get 4-eye, but at the same time, I don't want to get so far out. A lot of times, actually, I tell them that we want to align our inside eye with that tackle's outside eye, so that if we get the squeeze down, by the time we step down, we're basically directly heads up with that guy. Does that make sense, Joe?
Yep.
Okay. So again, it's really 3-4ish again, but this guy again here is that more safety type kid, hybrid type kid, that we're looking to get. So we start off with lightning, and our defensive end goes here on the left side. On this right side over here, you see I don't have anything going on. So that means, again, we're running our read game, right? Squeeze and scrape, make your read, go from there. So again, we're not always slanting one way or another. We're still more read and react than we are slanting, which I think goes back to more of that forefront, right? Forefront aren't, you don't get a lot of movement within a forefront. So we still get that movement, but we'll decide where the movement comes from. So we have lightning here, again, coming from the left. We call this guy our buck, and then we just go lion and ram, left and right. They stay where they're at. Obviously, we try to find guys that are relatively the same kind of guys. I'm still looking. In fact, this guy right here, I'm still looking as if, let's say we're 4-3 or 4-2-5. This guy's probably, normally going to be that strong side linebacker. So these are still guys that can cover, but they can still, they're more speed than size, I guess you would say. All right. So lightning tells us that our blitz is coming from the left. You guys know our left stack back and middle tackles going away. Then we go lightning loop. Okay, I think loop is a terminology that a lot of 3-front guys use. Pinch and loop is that kind of terminology there. So now we're running our lightning loop. So by adding a tag to it, as you see, we've changed the tracks, right? But again, the same 2 guys are blitzing, the same gaps are covered. That's how it just shows again how we're getting there. But again, we're not changing a lot. The only, again, he's going to the outside. The mic is still technically, or our monster is still going same gap. They're just switching responsibilities on loop. Lightning Eagle. Okay, this is our end to the A gap. All right, so again, we're still bringing the same guys. Nothing's changed there. But again, we're changing lanes of the highway. We're changing tracks. So again, depending on whether teams like to go big on big, whether they like to slide, whether they like to keep a back end to protect, You know what I mean? You have answers within your playbook without spending a lot. Lightning cross. Again, lightning tells that left defensive end that I know that I'm kind of pinching inside here, right? Lightning tells my left, my lion, my left stack, and my monster that they're blitzing. Cross just tells them that they're crossing, right? Again, they're just switching responsibilities. Just switching responsibilities.
Who goes first on that one?
So we also have another tag. That's a great question, Joe, because we have another tag where we may go maniac. Okay. And maniac means that basically these guys are going to step up on the line. Now, if we go maniac, this left stack may be stacked here, and this mic may be coming from there, and then ultimately it's right back to lightning. They're just switched up. Most of the time, it's this left stack that's coming. So if there's no maniac call, it's going to be this left one coming first. So again, what we're hoping again is that now again any blitz come from this outside again he's got contain, right? He's got to know that I can't. I want to bend it tight, but I can't bend it so tight to let the quarterback escape the pocket. So again, we're normally getting this guy stepping down. A lot of times and again, high school kids, right? Sometimes high school kids don't do what they're supposed to do. Maybe this kid is supposed to block out here, but he sees this movement. And that's what I think the three front does for you. He sees this movement inside and he wants to step inside. Okay. And again, depending on what we get, maybe again, if they're supposed to fan out, right? This guy's supposed to step out here and take him. He's supposed to take out here. So again, it's the confusion of where guys are going that I think frees it up. And most of the time, one of the lanes of the highway is going to be open. If I mean, it's what we found. I mean, we practice against ourselves, so our guys know what's coming. And again, they still have that tendency of, well, I saw him do this, so I wanted to do that. Well, what's your job, right? And it's tough. Look, you hear NFL guys talk about it, college guys talk about it, high school. We all talk about it. Do your job. But man, it's tough to not have a 16 or 17-year-old kid just want to make a play. Um, so here we have lightning loop cross. Again, the loop telling my defensive end that he's going outside. Again, most of the time we're bringing that outside guy in first and then wrapping back around. This obviously is a good maniac stunt for us because both guys would be lined up here in the hole. And then again, we're basically just basketball picking that guard. Um, Again, if you have any questions or anything when we're going through this, again, Joe, none of this is groundbreaking stuff, I don't think. Again, it's just a simple way of teaching kids without adding a ton of different stuff.
No, I'll tell you the probably the best team in our conference plays a 3-3 stack. And I was just watching film yesterday, and they sent one of these little rinky-dink blitzes at us that we should have picked up no problem. But just because what you said, a 16-year-old kid not doing what he's supposed to do, our guard just ignored a blitzer and went outside for no reason. I mean, we never practiced that. That's not a thing we do, but it's just the chaos that this creates having different, what you're calling different roads. And he just didn't do, he just made something up for no reason. And we give up a big pressure for that should have been simple. I mean, we got simple rules to handle a 3-3, but he, in the heat of the moment, just made something up and gave up a huge. It would have been a touchdown, and instead we get a quarterback scramble out of bounds, just because it's a 16-year-old trying to handle this stuff. So I'm 100% with you, man. It's you
And
bring
again,
chaos and kids don't do it the way we draw it up.
from a football standpoint, right? Just looking at this, they shouldn't have to keep a back end to protect against this. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have to do that, right? I mean, they got 5 blockers to my 5 guys that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
In the grand scheme of things, sure. In a perfect world, that's the way it is. It's when they start taking that running back to keep him in as a blocker when they really shouldn't have to. Now you've eliminated another player out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think it comes back to dictate. You wouldn't believe how many times our own guys in practice will play, if we're in a big on big type situation, right, with our pass blocking call, and this end stunts down here to the A, how many times this guy tries, you know what I mean? He tries chasing him down here. And the next thing you know, this guy right here is in the quarterback's face before he can do anything. Or again, this guy's stepping to where he should, blocking that kind of area. Hey, nobody's coming at me yet. I should just kind of hang out here because something's not right. I mean, that's what offenses do to us as defense, right? They sucker trap. Nobody blocks you, and the kid thinks, "Oh, nobody blocked me. I'm going to make a play."
No, I'm
No, there's a reason why sometimes.
and we said this before we started taping. If they're playing if they're playing an even front, all we want to do is get them into a 6-man box, and we feel like we can run it down their throat. But 3-3, that's a 6-man box, and that's a lot. It's a different kind of animal when you're running against that one. So I'm on your back, man. I like it.
Well, and I think the other thing that even when you bring one-man pressure, I think you hear, offensive guys talk about it against 3-4s. When they bring one-man pressure, sometimes that quarterback thinks he has to throw it hot, and he doesn't. But again, it's that where's that extra guy coming from? Because again, very few and far between are we just going to play with 3 guys, right? Normally, this lion, monster, ram, one of them's coming on every play, and that's why I say, if I want to bring this lion off the edge, and this guy, again, he goes here. Well, now I've just basically gotten into an over. This is this is how we played spread. We took this guy and he was in our 4. He was playing right here. This end was here as a 3 tech, and this guy was down on the edge. So if I bring a one-man pressure of lion, well, I end up getting that same look. But for the offense, the picture has changed completely. Or I should say, to a 16-year-old kid. As coaches, we see it. We can figure it out, but can they figure it out? That's what matters. So here's our Lightning Eagle Cross. So again, our Eagle ends going to A. We're crossing. Again, that tells my linebackers that they're just switching lanes. And again, it looks like something new. So again, our Lightning, that's our Lightning package. And it's just simply, you know, um, the other thing I will say is, again, with hand signals or wristbands, things like that, maybe you want to call the same thing over and over again. For us, we do it a little bit differently, but I'm going to tell you how, based off of this, what we do is, again, if you want to call the same play over again, you could just call a state name out. Arizona, Alaska, they know that that just means run the play again. Any state just means we're running the same play we just ran. Because I think defense coordinators, I talked about this in another interview before, we can get caught up too. We want to use everything in the playbook, but that's not generally the best way to go. So we had lightning go to the left. We're going to have thunder go to the right. Again, word association. You'll see a lot of word association through here. I think kids uh, learn best with some kind of word association. It may sound simple, but I continue to say simple can be successful. Okay, simple can be successful. So thunder, just it's the same as lightning, but we're just coming from the right side. So now the responsibilities just change. And again, like I said, this buck, this star, you know, whatever anyone's terminology is, he's normally going to go to the passing strength or the wide side of the field anyway. Okay. So again, you're going thunder, and you'll see that I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each one. I'm just going to, you know, go through, but we're doing the same thing just to the other side, right? Lightning loop. Now we're running thunder loop. Huddle is so slow, Joe. When are they going to do something with all the money we pay them? Okay, Thunder Eagle.
They're like Ma Bell. You better not make them mad.
Woo, woo, yeah. And again, I think that's why the video was having such trouble on another one that I went to. Like I said, if anybody wants to see some video, I have some practice video of some of this. Like I said, most of the stuff that we've done before, even you'll see, even when we did go 3-3 stack, a lot of times we might still have a guy up here on the line, just like you would in a 3-4 kind of defense. Whether we drop them off or we bring them, you know, is a whole nother story. Okay. Thunder Eagle Cross. Blizzard. Okay. Blizzard. Why do you think Joe, you got any thought on why I might call that Blizzard?
Tell us.
All right. Well, it's because it has an L and an R in the word. Okay. So that's telling us that this is our left and right stack kind of blitz. All right. This is your more traditional, what you would see out of your 3-4 teams, obviously. So for us, we used to call this saw in our old package, which would be in our Sam and our Will coming. So again, this is our Blizzard call. All right. And again, if we call Maniac, we can they'll walk up to the line up. Whether we, again, that's the great thing about just taking a tag, right? You can do so much with the tag. A lot of times guys are like, well, we got this package and you got to call all this extra verb. Man, I tell you what, over the years, I think it's just easier to tag something than to create a whole new name for it. So this is our Blizzard loop. Again, just telling our ends that they're going outside. You know, the loop is telling them kind of where they're going. Our left and right stack backs are coming in. Again, based off of what you're seeing or what you're trying to do as a defensive coordinator, force that offensive hand. You know, again, that depends on what's in the blitz package that night. All right. This is our bomb. Our bomb, again, you'll see we're bringing this buck or bandit, star, whatever anybody's terminology may be, and our monster. Okay, so again, bomb, our buck, and our monster. Again, pretty straightforward. Like I said, none of this is groundbreaking. Now I can see, again, if teams see this blitz, I will say a lot of times what you'll see a lot of teams trying to hit you with the bubble or a swing, some kind of swing route with the running back. But again, being that we play 2 read or palms on this side, again, if 2 runs the bubble, well, my corner's jumping up on that, and my safety's playing over the top. If we get some kind of swing route, normally his job would be 2 doesn't cross my face, 3 doesn't out leverage me. Obviously, we're bringing him as the blitzer. So now this guy becomes this guy, right? Now he's looking 2 doesn't cross my face, 3 doesn't out leverage me. Does that make sense, Joe?
Yeah, I like that.
So, and again, right? They see this, they see maybe I like to bring this pressure. Now again, we've ran, and my guys, again, I pounded into their heads so far. When they see this guy barely start the bubble, we've picked off bubbles for pick sixes. Now you have to train it, right? You got to train your coverage beaters because, okay, they see corners really jumping that bubble hard. They're going to go bubble by 2, go by 1. And if your safety isn't paying attention, that's how you're going to get hit. But that's where the repetition and the training comes in my opinion. And what we do when we're going through this, Joe, we'll get our defensive line and our backers together and we'll put trash cans. And I'll just call out blitzes. And we do it. And then we bring another group in and we do it. I mean, you can get through this stuff really once they understand that all we're doing, it's not totally different. We're just changing lanes. They start to it picks up very quickly, very quickly. This next one's going to be our bomb Eagle. Again, Eagle's telling my end that he's going to the A. The bomb's telling that it's coming from the buck and the monster. So again, we're just changing tracks, changing lanes. Again, a lot of times what we'll get is we'll get this kid step here. This kid will step out here. And this monster is in the face of this quarterback or tackling both of them at a handoff sometimes. Again, our offensive coach can get very frustrated sometimes. And he's like, what is going on up here? And that's why it's so important too. I want to mention this, to record your practice, right? Record your practice so that you can go back through and see what's going on, because we can't see everything there. And with the GoPro and all the technology out there, look, I'm not a big technology. I just got a cell phone like 3 years ago, Joe. You know, I'm not a technology, but there's too much technology out there for us not to take advantage of it. That's just my opinion. This next one's going to be Stab Eagle. And again, this is one that, like I said, Joe, we don't bring a lot, right? I talked about it before. You know, what can get us hurt here at this point, right? Before this stack backer here, he's replacing the job. And maybe if I call an in front, and because when we go with our in front, these stack backers stack out a little bit, right? So maybe if I did that, but again, it's not going to change my position of my monster. My monster cannot get out here against a running back running a quick little swing route where I can dump it to the running back and he's running for days. So again, I think depending on what you see and what you're getting and what you're doing, this is probably the most situational type of blitz as well. Again, depending on what you do, it's not one that we call often, but again, it's in there, and it's easy to because again, Eagle, my guys, when we're working NDD line, we're working our Eagle. You know, we're working our slants to the left, our slants to the right. You know, our read keys, and then we get together for group, and then we run through our blitz packages. Coach Mack did a good video on theory and application too. You know what I mean? In theory, I could always say, sure, my monster, he's going to cover that running back out of the backfield. In theory, right? In application, that don't work too well. Okay.
Offensive guys like it. Defensive guys think like that.
Yeah. So here's our Cyclone. Again, the L. And again, you see kind of a pattern. Everything's pretty much weather related. Again, word association. So our Cyclone is to our left. And again, our tackle, our tank, nose, again, what anybody wants to call, we called our tank. We basically took out a nose and kept our tank. So again, he's basically stunting to that B gap, and our left stack backer and our Mike are coming through the A's. Now, one question I have been asked is, you know, from people is, well, coach, you know, I thought Loop tells that defensive end that he's going outside. And truthfully, yeah, again, it's been a while, but again, this should say Cyclone Loop, because again, it was because my kids, the younger kids especially, this used to be called bullets, so that we knew we were going B gap, right? But then when we started saying, okay, you know, instead of having numerous different calls, let's have the same call and just change tracks. You know, that's where the loop had needed to kind of come in, because it was like, all right, it'll either be implied whether it's pinch or loop based off of what we're going. So this used to be a bullet strong call, so that strong end would know to go outside. But if you want to keep it the same and almost copy paste, maybe terminology or things that I'm talking about here, technically you would include that Cyclone Loop, especially for your younger players to know, loop, I'm going outside. I'm going outside. Um, so again, we are cutting hard across his face. Again, it's more that dip and pick up that tennis ball off the ground. Um, but again, our tank, our nose, whatever you want to call it in the three front, got to be the baddest dude you got, in my opinion. I think if that nose is the baddest dude you got, it causes even more problems. And kind of like for me personally, I think in a forefront, you got to have that three tech war daddy, so that was my philosophy is okay, that kid that I was looking for to play that three tech, I just slide him on down here, and he becomes that dude that I can. I mean, again, a lot of times I think in high school you're finding guys trying to get a center that may be not the most physical or strongest, but can snap that ball, especially in shotgun, right into the hands of my quarterback every time, and then we'll help him out. If you put a straight war daddy against a kid that that other team is relying on help, now you're really creating some things, Joe. So we got Cyclone to the left coming, Cyclone Cross. Again, now on this, um, again, we might line up Maniac, right? We might take this Mike and line him up right here. We might take this L, this Lion, and stack them right here and go from there. Either way, it's going to be the sequence is basically Mike coming, or I'm sorry, Tank coming, Mike coming, and then the Lion coming afterwards. Basically, we're getting them. We're looking to um, pull open one of these A gaps. Really, again, quickest point to the quarterback is through the A gap.
You're playing your best D lineman at nose.
Yeah,
You're playing your best linebacker at Mike.
I am. I think whether you and again, everybody's different, right? I know Coach Mack. He likes to have this guy as a defensive lineman type, and in a lot of 3-5s, that that middle linebacker will be that more almost like a D line guy. That's all of a sudden now he's picking the gap. So I think you can look at it in two different ways because let's say you maybe this your best D line, your best D lineman guy is fast enough to maybe play this Mike because we don't ask him to do a lot in coverage. We don't ask him a lot, but he's got to be able to play the run. We want him to be able to stuff the run and still be able to do some things coverage wise that we want to do. Um, yeah, again, I think you have to do what fits your personnel best, Joe. I mean, I think that's one thing with my channel you're going to hear me say a lot, right? I think there's certain things, Joe, that you say in just about every video when you're talking certain things. That's probably one thing that I'm going to say is ultimately you got to do what fits you and your guys best and what you can teach and what they can understand, more importantly, to be successful on Friday night.
All right, when
So
you're getting ready to play a spread team, tell me what percentage of your game plan is going to be 5-man pressures? I mean, are you fixing to light them up all night? Is that your game plan?
I do like to bring because again 5-man pressure, a quarterback really shouldn't have to throw. I mean, I think you're throwing hot quicker than you need to throw hot sometimes, with the with the extra guy again, depending on where you're going. Um, this guy again, we show him playing off, but a lot of times he's going to be creeping. Now, obviously, if we were going to call a tornado in this situation, Joe, we're going to be manned up over here. Like I said, I knew I didn't, don't want to talk a lot of coverage, but again, let's be, let's kind of be real. And at the same time, though, we could, again, you can't really play two read to this side, right? Because your stack backer's coming and the strength. And this is where I think the 3 high safety look comes in. because now all of a sudden maybe you're dictating where I bring my blitz from based off of where you set your passing strength and where I set, that bandit, that buck, that star, or whatever it may be. Because you certainly, you don't have that, uh, you know, quick presence here. I mean, again, this is an easy throw for a quarterback, easy throw and an easy completion, right? Again, he reads it hot, boom, that ball's out. So again, a lot of time we are going to bring this guy up and he's going to be playing and it's going to look 3-5 ish, but this is going to be a safety type that obviously we feel and trust can play man to man. And I think that's where the split field coverage comes in, where sometimes you can take a younger player that may not quite get the hang of two read and put them to the boundary side or weak side and say, we're pretty much playing sky or cloud or some man type of coverage over here. Tornado, again, just like Cyclone coming from the left, Tornado's coming from the right. Tornado Cross. You'll see it again. There's not a lot of edge pressure from this, Joe. You know what I mean? There's not much edge pressure in the 5-man. A little bit, but not. I don't think as much as you see kind of that edge pressure coming from a 3-4. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I think most of what we're doing is trying to attack these three guys a lot of times. That center and those guards, right? So again, me personally, I kind of, especially in high school, want to take away that inside gap first, kind of step in and then, kick out type deal. Because again, quickest way between 2 points is a straight line. Quickest path to the quarterback is through the A gaps. I mean, I think you're seeing a lot of the mug kind of stuff with this too, Joe. Again, where you're getting, those guys right, two linebackers right up in here, and again, you're just playing basketball pick and working that way. But that's basically our 5-man pressures. Again, this is some of our 6 stuff, and again, everything's dependent on what you're doing. Obviously, if you're bringing 6, you have to have a way. Again, you don't want this running back going free. But I think, again, to read this way, now this running back goes away, obviously it's going to cause you some problems. So what we've done is we know that when we call swarm, if I have the running, if I'm on the weak side and that running back goes out, I have to peel. Right. So if for some reason off the snap of the ball, this guy comes and maybe they're trying to run some little screen back to the running back away from the strength, this guy knows that, again, I can't just keep on going. And again, that's because we're going to be on this side. I can tell you straight, we're going to be man to man on this side, on the weak side. So if that running back flares out there, I got nobody. Right. That's where I say you can throw punches, but don't be stupid. A lot of times you'll see guys bring the house and not leave anybody there and just hope that they don't see that guy. I don't like that. I'm not that much of a riverboat gambler. So you again, you have to focus on that peel. But at the same time, with what we teach, play away, stay, A, B, C, D. So right off the start, this guy knows his pass rush isn't necessarily going to be as violent per se. Again, he still has a job to do on this backside if need be. And then this is where we get back into our games, Joe. Right now we're going to go Typhoon Loop. Okay, Typhoon Loop. And again, this defensive end, again, they know weak side, outside, right? I have to pull off. So again, if I see that they like to run screen away from the strength, probably not going to be calling much Typhoon that week. Again, the reason it's Typhoon, there's no left, there's no L, there's no R, right? Everybody's coming. When you think of a typhoon, right? A typhoon's something that wipes you out. And we call ourselves the Blue Crush defense. Blue Crush is a surf term of a wave that just keeps coming until it drowns you. And obviously, we're blue with Marquette. So it just kind of worked that way. When I took over defensive coordinator, I told them all great defenses have a nickname. Most of the time, you got to earn one. I'm going to make you guys live up to one. And so far, they've done a pretty good job over the 5 years that I've been here. Typhoon Eagle. Typhoon Eagle, again, they know that we're coming from the strong side where we're eagling. But again, if they want to swing this out and they want to bubble, because again, they see this on tape, they think, okay, that invites me to get some kind of bubble, something out on the edge. That's where I think your focus time with us defensively, we put a lot of focus time into tackling, turnovers, and pursuit. That's ultimately what football comes down to. It's a simple game complicated by coaches. On offense, it comes down to, as much as anybody wants to say it, it comes to blocking and not turning the ball over. If you get good blocking up front, you can run the ball, you can pass the ball. If you don't turn over the ball, you got a lot better chances of winning the game. It's just that simple. On defense, if you can tackle and cause turnovers, you're going to win a lot more games than you lose. So there's our Typhoon Eagle again. They know that it's coming from the strong side because again, we need to have that weak side peel off if need be. Uh, Typhoon Cross again, just changing lanes. So they're already used to doing the cross. They're used to doing the eagle. They're used to doing the loop. They're used to these things. So again, changing the lanes doesn't really change anything for them, but boy, it gives the offensive line. It doesn't even feel like it's a different picture. It feels like it's a whole different damn movie, in my opinion. Now, again, others may say, "Oh no, my guys are trained up. They can handle all that." Or we've got, again, Johnny's and Joe's, not X's and O's, right? Again, at the end of the day, if their kids are better than ours in high school, especially, you're gonna win a lot of games. Our Eagle Cross, and this is our a little change up. Typhoon Swap. Okay, looks like a 6-man pressure, but it's really a 5-man pressure. And again, this dude is normally a stud. All I'm asking him to do really in coverage is just kind of drop down the middle of the field and any crossers. Again, people have to remember this is high school football. If you want to cross the middle of my field, you're going to pay a toll. That's just the way it is. And by the end of the game, a lot of times guys don't want to run crossing routes. They don't want to run mesh because again, when this guy comes across here, my guy here better knock him out on the way to getting to 3. If he can get past him, well, the next man in line. Again, nobody crosses the field for free because there's no illegal contact. Until that ball comes out, there's no pass interference. There's no illegal contact. Obviously, you have holding. Okay. So don't hold. But I have I have some video of this guy who in our past was our Superman, our strong side linebacker in our 4-2-5, and his rule again: 2 doesn't cross my face, 3 doesn't out leverage me on 2 read. And he just a lot of times this kid just goes flat down, just down on the ground, and that's it. You can't catch many passes when you're sitting on your butt. But Typhoon swaps that little change up again. Am I coming into a game saying we're running Typhoon 10 times in a game or we're running? No, but you got to have that change up, right? If you can get there with 4, no need to bring more. I mean, that's just the way I am. If you're getting there with 4, you don't need to bring more. You don't